Who is Kai Greene? To answer that question, I traveled to Kai's hometown of Brooklyn, New York, to find out how a champion is created. Is he born or made? For most men, greatness is a quality that is earned with hard work, study, and perseverance. For bodybuilding powerhouse Kai Greene, being a champion requires all these things, but it begins with a state of mind. I arranged to meet Kai here at Fifth Avenue Gym to get to know him and his trainer, Oscar Arden, and begin to get some insight into their methods and philosophy during their last workout before they leave for 7 weeks of intense training in Las Vegas. Fifth Avenue Gym is an underground, hardcore, no-frills, old-school establishment. Kai greets me warmly, and I'm pleasantly surprised when he tells me that he's seen my work. We talk for a few moments, and I'm not surprised to find that he is deeply philosophical about his current challenge.
This whole game is about being a champion of mind, being in control of your own thoughts. Mind is everything, and the most powerful thing on this universe, and the omniverse, is the power of thought. I think if you look at creational theory, they'll say, the creator spake it, and it was. Let there be light, and it happened. I think that's what we do.
When Oscar arrives, it's time to get down to business. Tonight is a shoulder workout. Delts, as the bodybuilders say. As I shoot, I am immediately impressed by two things: Kai's amazing strength and his intensity. The third thing I noticed is the relationship between Oscar and Kai. Oscar doesn't just tell Kai what to do, he goes through the workout with him. There is also an unmistakable fatherly or brotherly attitude that Oscar has towards Kai. It is a training relationship unlike any I've ever witnessed.
I didn't know much about him in the beginning, just somebody that shared the same interests that I shared, and we became friends. As we became friends, I know that he had a lot of potential, but I guess he lacked a lot of the guidance. You know, he would kind of rough around the edges when it came to nutrition and training and certain aspects of life, you know.
I remember Kai when he was just a little one, when he was competing at the, 94 Delaware show? Because I was there and I remember seeing him, and he was kind of stringy but had nice muscles, and I've watched him throughout the years just slowly growing, and then all of a sudden growing into one of the best pros in the world. And I always knew he had that potential. I thought so, even back then.
Kai Greene. I saw Kai Greene a long time ago. He was competing probably as a middleweight, somewhere in the neighborhood of 176 pounds. And he's small, but he is just put together. Every body part was there. He had sweep on his quads and little waist and a big back. And he posed way different than anybody else.
Over the years, Kai has built on his promising framework, adding many pounds of muscle, turning pro in 2004, and winning several major titles, including, most famously, the 2009 Arnold Classic. Despite all of his success, it is clear that he is not taking the Olympia lightly, and is grateful for Oscar's presence.
Man, honestly, we just got so much riding on this part of it. You know, I depend a great deal on Oscar, because honestly, this is new territory even for me.
You know, he's more really like a brother, like a younger brother, you know, and I care and I love him very much. You know, my mother considers him like a son. You know, my children love him. My wife, just just amazing. Just whether it was bodybuilding or not bodybuilding, you know, we have the same relationship. It just happened that bodybuilding connected us.
Everybody on a team has an assignment. A successful team, I think, is successful because the people that they have delegated to carry out specific tasks, they're doing it and not falling short.
I do need for him to take this to the ultimate level and totally devote himself 100% physically, mentally, and spiritually to the task at hand, without involving any other things, any other elements that come into that it can easily come and interrupt. So it's about being totally focused, and dedicated, and not allow anything to come in and take any energy away. And that's how it's gonna be,
The workout goes on and on. It is a brutal attack on Kai's shoulders from every possible angle. Each time I think they are done, they begin loading the bar again for yet another exercise. This is one of the longest, most intense workouts I've ever witnessed. And it's only a shoulder routine. I find myself wondering, how does he keep going? Where does the energy come from? The answer I get is surprising. In the midst of all this positivity, there is a dark side to Kai's philosophy as well. I find out about it when I ask him about Ronnie Coleman.
Ronnie Coleman to me is definitely someone that, worthy of a tremendous amount of respect. I think the real Ronnie Coleman, though, probably will definitely never be privileged enough to know. Where does a man have to go in order to put 800 pounds on his back and say, I'm gonna squat down to the floor and stand up as many times as I can before, I pass out or, blow something out, or, just the rage that would have to be inside that, to begin to open up and talk about,
It comes from rage.
This dude put 800 pounds on his back, and squatted down to the floor as many times as he could before he threw up. You tell me, where does this guy have to go? I said, there's violence in there, there's rage in there. You say, well, you ask me, is it violent? Is there rage? I'm saying I believe there has to be. Because I just don't, until you try to put 805 pounds on your back and squat down to the floor, then you'll realize, I really there's something else that has to be motivating me to do that, because there's no way I can do that and say I'm a nice guy. I might be a nasty motherfucker behind the scenes, and I might be ready to really be able to call on that when I need to, and that's what makes me proficient at my job. Should it be being a linebacker? Should it be being a man outside on the line fighting for the country? Or, should it make me a good cop? Or would it make me, a good athlete right now? I think there's a psychological profile that I think, if you really explore it, it probably would alarm people to think about, who this guy must really be. Because you cannot be just a very simple person to explain, a simple person to understand, with that kind of ability.
This is the final workout before both of them fly to Las Vegas to train in seclusion for the 7 weeks preceding the Olympia. It seems like an excessively long time to me, but Oscar has his reasons.
Like soldiers go away to Iraq, down so their families have to go, that's the type of, what they have to do to perform. You can't be worried about your wife, your girlfriend, you can't be worried about your bills. You have to focus, on the enemy and attack and destroy, and this is the goal that we have, and this is what we have to do. It's like a camp. It's more like a boxer's training camp. You get up, you have your meal, your cardio, your training. It becomes away from distractions, away from drama, away from stress, and just focusing on the task at hand.
Mr. Olympia is the place where the biggest, the baddest, and the best IFBB professional bodybuilding champion of the world sits on his throne. When you aspire to become that, to prove that your best efforts can be met with the honor such as that title, it's a giant step. It's a giant step.